What's going on? It's J. Period, the mixtape assassin, in the house with AllHipHop, and we got a story to tell.
What's going on, world? It's your man, Chuck Creekmur, a.k.a. Jigsaw, here at One World Studios. I'm here with a friend, long-term buddy, you know what I mean, in hip-hop. I can call you a buddy.
Yeah, yes, you can.
Yeah.
We've known each other that long.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
J. Period.
Yes, glad to be here.
Grown up and evolved in this hip-hop thing over the years.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think when I started really running the streets in New York, you were also out here running around, and we would see each other across the room for many years until we connected. But yeah, it's been a long time.
Definitely.
Glad to see you're still rocking, sir.
Man, it's glad to see you still rocking.
Exactly.
Yeah, last night we did Story to Tell live.
Yes.
I was in the building.
Yes, indeed.
And I said, you know, I was tired, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was so tired. I stopped at my hotel before I came to the Blue Note. And when you get in the room,
it took extra commitment to get back out the door.
Exactly. But I said, I didn't put my boots on. I put my sneakers on.
Okay.
So I said, I'm going out.
And
it was a great show. Mumu
Thank
Fresh.
you. Yes.
Shout out to Mumu Fresh.
Shout out to Mumu Fresh.
So much love for her because of what she represents.
Mm-hmm.
On all levels, and also Drez,
Yes,
Smith and Wesson,
yep.
Pharoah Monch was in the house.
Yes, he was.
You didn't do the Godzilla though.
I didn't. I let him breathe. I asked him before the show. He said no, he wanted to watch. So I respect that.
Yeah, no, but shout out to him.
Yes.
Who else was in the house? It was
Renee from Jeanne was in the house.
Yeah, that's right.
I was highly tempted to bring her up at the end, but we had a pretty strict sort of set. Yeah. And Tasha Smith, director, actress, was in the house. Yeah. I think with Stacey Muhammad, also director.
Yeah. Stacey Muhammad was in the house?
Yeah, Stacey was there.
Ooh,
yeah.
I missed her.
I think they said Stacey was a director, but I just met her last night. But Tasha
she's dope.
Came to support, and just an incredible gang of musicians on stage with me.
Of course.
All talents, producers in their own right. You know, Ray Angry, Stro Elliott, Marcus Machado on guitar.
Oh, Queen Cora.
Yes, Queen Cora on drums. Representing the spirit of Prince.
Yes.
In my story, and Mark Kelly on bass. And then a couple last minute entries. We had Maurice Mo Betta Brown on trumpet and Casey Benjamin on sax. So that's like an all-star squad.
Yeah, I was out there last week for my birthday, and they saw me, having fun, maybe too much fun. It's like, oh boy, and some people were like, yeah, man, you was. I was like, oh boy, what did I do? But nah, that's dope. Yeah. So let's talk about. Well, first of all, tell me the experience. Story to Tell live.
Yes.
I like that word experience because it's not somebody just getting on the mic and rapping. It's improvisation.
Yep.
It's when things don't go right.
Yep.
The show doesn't stop.
Yep.
And that happened.
Yep. That's true.
Tell us about it.
Well, I think that's been evolving for many years. It started with me, making these mixtapes, and then, at places like the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival in the old days, it started turning into what became the live mixtape of me pulling artists on stage and seeing what happens if you add that improvisational element and surprise the crowd. And then when I connected with Black Thought, on the Roots mixtape, it turned into a whole other kind of show because you put him on stage and feed him beats, and he just keeps eating, every beat that you feed him.
Right.
And it
like I said,
a
man possessed.
Yeah, completely. And so that's turned into the version we do at the Roots Picnic, which, is everybody from Mobb Deep and Fat Joe to this past year we did Busta Rhymes and Eve. And then, on the flip side, I've been sort of producing and starting to evolve with how to kind of assemble and make my own stuff. So the version of it that we did last night is kind of the fusion of those. So we're celebrating the release of this album, Story to Tell, which is me, my musical story, I guess, through all the styles and things that have influenced me. But the live version is all about kind of deconstructing those things and building a backup with the band. Now it adds a whole other element. So that's what we did at the Blue Note.
Yeah, and the band element is so lovely, bro.
Yeah.
We were, sitting in this crowd, and we're just like we're looking at each other like, yo, listen to that saxophone or the bass player, or the drums, and then Stro is doing drums in his way.
Yep.
And then Mumu, she's, coming in and out on different parts. She's singing, almost like off the top, like it seemed like. And
some of it was improvisational. I mean, part of the point is that, in doing the live mixtape with Black Thought, he is very improvisational. So I had to figure out a way in the format to be flexible if it changes on the spot, and cue points and loops and stuff like that. Now with Serato stems, I can do that, but I can dissect the record. So I can mute the music, mute the bass, and leave room for the band. But they're rocking over the drums, like the produced drums, and it really makes for an ill combination. So it was a kind of an experiment. We hadn't really done that before last night.
Right. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And last night, I mentioned earlier that Blacc Thought was not in the building, but you had his vocals. So
Yes.
Mumu is rapping.
Yes.
With him.
Well, we had a mix. Part of the point was to mix the world of the mixtapes, where I'm taking things wherever I find them and making it, and having this live element. So we had Drez from Black Sheep coming and doing some of my favorite joints, and Smith and Wesson, and Mumu rocking some of my favorite joints that she and I've done. But then I had Blacc Thought a cappella in one spot. We had a Fife a cappella as a tribute to him. Dave Chappelle couldn't be there. He kind of phoned in a message, and therefore got to represent that. But that's the fusion of what I do on the mixtapes and also now on this album.
Yeah, so talk about the album. What are people going to get?
Well, Story to Tell Chapter 1 had some incredible kind of unusual combinations, Blacc Thought and Tiffany Goucher with Dave Chappelle, Masego with Shad, a rapper from Toronto, and then Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Shad's been around a long time.
Shad's been around a long time.
Shad.
He's very dope.
Yeah.
And then the last record was Lin-Manuel Miranda and Joel Ortiz. So this Chapter 2 is now Andra Day, Aloe, Blacc, Joss Stone, Cardinal Official, Estelle. It's much more R&B, soul flavored. But, that's a chamber of what, I do as a DJ. And so that's what this whole project is about, is all these different places that hip hop, lets you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a humble flex, y'all. Humble flex. I was in LA after the Grammys, literally right after Dave Chappelle decides he's going to do a jam session.
Yes.
So I was blessed enough to get invited. And, it was so dope, and Andra Day performed. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Andra Day. Yeah.
Andra Day.
People think it's Andra, but it's Andra.
Right. So Dave, it was so funny. Dave kept saying her name wrong, and so her girl, not her, but her girl,
yes,
so bad. I was like, but she got up there and she killed it. And
yes.
And we're in the phone era, so I was like, oh my God, I want to tape this so bad. I wish I had a way to tape this. Dave takes your phone.
Yes.
But it was so dope to experience it. Guapole was there as well.
Incredible.
She's so dope.
Yes.
And other people too.
Yeah.
It was really amazing.
I've been at many of those jam sessions. I DJ'd several of them, this past year for Hip Hop 50. And, Andra, I was so excited to work with her. I actually have a number of records with her that haven't come out yet. But the song we just put out, Hot Sauce, with her and Aloe Blacc, again, a combo that had never happened. And it's sort of a 60s jazz vibe fused with hip hop. So we got to rock that last night as well with the whole band.
Yeah.
Without Andra, unfortunately.
Right. But it's interesting, seeing you embrace, R&B and jazz, improvisation and all of that, which is like kind of like not really seen that much anymore. Who raised you? like how did this
music? I don't know. I think, part of it comes from me having a really diverse array of musical influences. My father was at one time a folk musician. My mom was playing, Rolling Stones and so forth. My sister was like everything from Fishbone and Bad Brains to Led Zeppelin. So I really did get an array, and then I just came into understanding music at the birth of hip hop.
Yeah.
So that's my language.
Right.
And what I think I've found is that it can take from all those other genres. And so the farther along this path I go, the more I want to take from other places and see what happens. We were talking about yesterday, the show opens with a classical piece that Ray Angry's playing, but it's over some dirty Questlove drums that he literally texted me. So it's sort of like the oldest of old and the newest of new combined together. And to me, that's what hip hop does. So the further I'm pushing in that direction, it almost feels like it's more and more hip hop rather than less and less. So
Ray Angry, has he done soundtracks?
He has done soundtracks. He plays with the Roots. He's played with Miss Lauryn Hill. So
I deconstructed a Roots song. I forget which one.
He's written songs for the Roots as well. Yeah.
And I went and it was, I forget. I think it's an instrumental. And I was like, yo, this instrumental is crazy. Can I look on my phone?
I mean,
I want to look and see if it's the.
is it on How I Got Over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
which one you're talking about.
Which one?
I don't know the name of it off top, but I know which one. I can hear it, and that is a Ray Angry piece.
Okay.
That's actually Rich Nichols, rest in peace, sort of facilitating Ray Angry to create that. Yeah.
Because I just made a birthday playlist, and let me see.
That was on there.
Is this it?
That's the one.
This is the first song on my birthday playlist.
Yes, that's amazing. I will let him know that.
And I listen to this all the time.
Yeah, he's really exceptionally talented, classically trained, but hip hop sensibilities. So what he and I have been doing together, whether last night at the Blue Note or last month at the Winter Jazz Fest, where we, deconstructed Dilla records in this same way, the potential for that to me is like, I want to see that in Carnegie Hall one day.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to see us in Carnegie Hall one day doing that.
Facts. Yo, that's so crazy. Tell him he has a big fan.
Word.
In Chuck Jigsaw Creekmur, for sure.
I will.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And you're like this is aggregator the word? Are you a straight producer? But it seems like it's more than that.
I mean, I think there's a part of it that's curation. I think there's a part of it that is storytelling. I think there's a part of it that is sort of sound selecting, basically, and then there's like the DJ mixing element, which is combining it all and making it seamless. I think that's also an important part. So all my records, the songs that I'm making, they mix together on the album the way that they do on the mixtape.
Right.
It's just like what my instincts, send me towards. But yeah,
that's funny. I always joke about DJ Vlad, and people, they're on him all the time, and I'm like, I can't really bash him because I knew when he was a DJ and he had some dope mixtapes.
Yeah.
He was a real dude in that respect. And other stuff too. And but I'm also like, well, how did you get to here? Because DJing is not what it used to be. But you seemingly evolved with the times and innovated even. So I don't know what the question is, but it's kind of like a feather in your cap in a lot of ways, because many DJs are complaining or they're not happy with the way things are, but it seems like you never got caught up in that.
Nah, I mean, I'm still happy to be here. It's like, I don't know that that's something you can fake.
Right.
So, and it comes off because I am. And I still feel very, sort of grateful that I get to do this. This is, essentially my dream was to do this. And I find myself now, especially in the last year, where I'm doing, Big Daddy Kane and Rakim at Lincoln Center and Latifah at the Smithsonian, these things that are beyond my imagination. Yeah. Or the Grammys, 50-year tribute, out there looking around, like realizing the scale of what I'm making these segments for, and all that stuff. It's not lost on me. So I think the real reason is just that I'm still happy to be here, and so I'm excited. And I think if you approach it from a place of being excited, you see possibilities, and that's what you want to go explore. You're not complaining about what isn't or whatever. It's like. Right.
That's a fact. Yeah. Coda the Friend has a song called "Grateful," and I was interviewing him, and we talked about that, and I thought about him when the show last night, because we had a long conversation after the show about seeing our legacy artists and seeing our childhood or our youth and things. But it's not only that. I was like, Coda the Friend could definitely pop up on there and spit, even improv with the band and stuff. And to me, he's an extension of that same frequency or vibration. Yep.
Yeah, and I know Static Selecta has rocked with him. I don't know his music that well, but I do know that there are artists, young cats out there that maybe aren't getting that level of shine, but they're out there, and they have that sensibility. And I also see, for me to have survived this long in this game, something about it has to resonate with, generations down. Facts. And I found that even last night, where people that were coming up to me that were responding, it's like, wow, okay. Yeah. Like, this is dope.
Very diverse crowd.
Yeah. Super diverse crowd.
Who would you say your fan base is? Like, who's your typical person? Do you have a typical person?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to have a typical person. I think I want my fan base to be impossible to define, as I would want myself to be impossible to define in that way, stylistically or otherwise, just because, like, why should we limit it, Right. And I think music resonates to everyone. Different music resonates to different people.
Right.
but there's no reason why it can't be a crazy mixture of people in the room, and it's speaking to them.
Yeah.
And then also think that what happens if you create that space, people look around the room and they're like, oh wow,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm not so different from this or that or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's, you know, that's important too.
So I've been around Dave Chappelle a lot. Well, not a lot. That's probably not an accurate word, but you know, enough.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very protective, very private. I have a long story. And those that hear the word Scooter Palooza will know what it's about. But it's Vegas All Star.
Okay.
Right after Comedy Central.
Okay.
And it was just the most outrageous night, I would say, of my whole career.
Okay.
It went from Prince. I mean,
you're off to a good start.
Yeah. It was everything you would want for your
Wow.
story. But also Dave was very nervous, and he didn't really want me there because I was a journalist. And then through the years, it's eased up.
Mm-hmm.
But you've been able to make that rapport and create a relationship with him that I think people would dream of. How have you managed to do that?
Hip hop.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that, you know, what we connected on initially was Jerobi invited me out. You know, he said, I'm going to hang with Dave. I didn't know which Dave he was talking about.
Right.
And I went, and it turned out it was a secret show in L.A. With the Dave.
Yeah.
And when I met him, when Jerobi introduced me, he goes, wait, you did that Q-Tip mixtape. And I was like,
Yeah.
So, you know, I look at Jerobi, and he just kind of smiles. And that's how it started.
Right.
And it went from that to Jerobi saying, hey, you guys should do a comedy mixtape.
Right.
And he was sort of passing back and forth in the backstage, and he would sort of grab me and be like, that's a really good idea. We should do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, what is happening here?
Right.
But that night ended with him saying, you know, do you have your stuff, like my DJ stuff? And I did. So I ended up DJing the after party.
Okay.
And by the end of my set, he was like, here's my number.
Yeah.
And it was literally like, you know, giving you my playlist. It was like, I don't know, you know, just like connecting purely over the musical vibes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been why it's been so dope, is that that's the frequency that we function on. It's all about hip hop, and he appreciates, you know, what I'm trying to do, and I appreciate his love of hip hop, you know, amongst the many other things, you know, about him.
And then, you know, I went from my first meeting, well, not my first meeting with Dave, but first like hanging out with him, to Prince jam sessions with Q-Tip and Queen Latifah and others, to him doing them. I was like, what? Did he replace Prince? Like, what? This is like
It's crazy.
mind blowing. Yeah.
I mean, it is. I think, you know, I look at that the way that in some ways I look at all of this, which is that it's all mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense
doesn't
at all.
It never gets old, right?
No, it never
Yeah.
gets old. And I also think what's really dope is finding that, you know, you get to these levels where, you know, you wouldn't expect people to have as pure a love as they do.
Yeah.
And those are the people that I've connected with, you know, at that level.
Yeah.
And I think that's really dope. You know, it's like, it's something to hope for, to find those people that are doing it because they love it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a top 5 dead or alive rappers?
Wow. I mean, that's a really
No,
hard
I'm not
to
asking.
pick,
I'm saying,
do I mean,
give me your top 5 dead or alive.
Okay.
Now,
a top 5. They're not going to be in order.
That's fine.
And I may have to revise it as we go.
Okay.
But, I mean, I got to say Biggie.
Okay. No. We've put Biggie on the Mount Olympus.
So we don't have to touch him anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Biggie's always in people's top 5.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, Nas for me. Kane.
Okay, yeah. Shout out to Kane. And y'all did a mixtape too that was crazy.
Amazing mixtape and amazing live mixtape. I would venture to say the best Kane performance I have seen, even though I saw it from behind the turntables in some time. So that was incredible.
Now wait a minute. I will say this. I was a little upset with you because I thought they were going to battle. I thought Kane and Ra were going to battle song versus style.
At one point in time, that was a discussion, but
Okay.
I don't know that their styles match in that way. I think like Rakim does what Rakim does, and Kane does what Kane does, and they both are exceptional at what they do. So it ended up making more sense to just each of them have a moment.
Right.
And we had Rozelle, you know, kind of bookending that. But so I would say Nas. Kane, I mean Biggie, we set aside. Blacc Thought, you know, the longer I've known him, just rises higher and higher.
Yeah.
He may even be number one at this point in time, just because his ability to write is beyond.
Never a whack verse or whack bar.
Never
ever.
mind that part. I'm talking about like the things he's drawing from to write his stuff is more expansive than maybe anybody.
Yeah.
You know, Jay, I think you could rival. But again, you know, Blacc Thought I've seen spit for 45 minutes in a singular tone. That's not something that anybody else can do.
Right.
So that's an argument for him being up there. I mean, for me, oh man, I mean, you know, you can't say this without it sparking something. But Andre is one of my, you know, favorites. But you know,
I just wish he would know that there's things to talk about.
I mean,
there's plenty to talk about.
There's lots to talk about. I mean, I think. For me, KRS, Kane, Rakim is like, you know, the holy trinity. I would almost set them aside as well.
Yeah. Facts.
And then, you know,
is a monster as well.
Yes. Yeah. KRS-One is he's the one standing at the gate with the staff.
Exactly.
Yes. He's the one.
What was Idris Elba's role, like the protector of the bridge?
Yes.
Like as you cross to Asgard, that's KRS-One.
That's 100% for sure. I love that.
Can't right. You
he's the protector at the gate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, So
he literally turned everything down.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, bro.
Okay. I mean, you know, I would love at some point if I could have a conversation with him about that. And frankly, I would love to do a live mixtape with him. I think the live mixtape that I could make with KRS-One would be like a 60-minute lesson in hip hop that you would want to watch over and over again.
Well, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna try to help it.
Word.
Yeah.
I'm lobbying for that one.
That's my man.
Yeah.
I got a story to tell.
Oh, you got a story to tell too.
I opened for KRS-One once upon a time.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
As a rapper?
Opening act. Yes, I was. It was the highlight of my career.
I mean, that's a highlight right there.
Yeah. As a kid who grew up on him, I was like, okay, what do I need to do after this? Like, I think I'm done. But no, he's also similar to Blacc Thought, just never fell off.
Nah, and one of the things I found out recently, which I'm trying to make happen, is Blacc Thought and KRS-One have never done a show together.
What?
Ever.
That's
so
crazy.
That is another thing I'm trying to make happen before I'm done, for sure.
Okay. We're manifesting. That's our new thing.
Yeah.
Manifesting.
Absolutely.
What would you change about hip hop if like we understand we can't change what people want or anything like that, but if you could have a magic wand and you were like, let me just make this.
I would probably create like an independent side stream that you could, you know, ride more easily around the industry. Because I have ridden it and it has been quite treacherous.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, not following the rules that are, you know, were imposed on many of us and doing it my own way is why I'm still here.
Yeah.
So I think if I could change anything, it would be to make a path. You know, if you don't want to go through and sell your soul and or give up your publishing and or sign a 360 deal and or any of the other things they will ask you to do, then you got to fight, you know, an endless uphill climb. So I would make that easier. That would be my thing. Yeah,
man. Well, you know, salute to you. I mean, salute to all of us. I think we're all very like-minded or like, you know, frequency is such a, you know, cliche now, but it's true. And I don't want to say the whack people, they work together, but kind of they do. You know what I'm saying?
At least they work off each other.
Like maybe not the whack ones, but, you know, the others, if you will.
Yeah.
They work well together and they know what they're doing. It's kind of like Trump, you know, not to bring politics in there, but his base, they're all like, yo, this is what it is.
Yes. I mean,
this is where we're going.
If there's anything social media has taught us, it's much easier to play to people's negative and worst instincts than to play to their positive instincts.
Yeah, true.
But that doesn't mean that you go along with that.
Right. Facts.
Yeah.
So what's next for you?
Well, I mean, this Friday, God willing, Story to Tell Chapter 2 drops. And the new single, Better Half, with Mumu Fresh and Camp, with my man Tall Black Guy on co-production. And then I have another record. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, he has like a dope De La remix.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
With the triple time.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Tall Black Guy.
God.
If you don't know about Tall Black Guy, look up Tall Black Guy.
I was not smoking or doing anything, but when I heard it, I felt
it'll
like
turn you upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his you ever heard his Sade remix?
No.
I'm gonna change your life.
Okay.
His Sade remix is James Brown Feel Good remix.
Okay.
Life changing.
Whoa.
So he and I rocked on this record. Shout out Carvin Haggins also, who wrote on the record. That was a record that came out of Playlist Retreat. So I got to shout out Jazzy Jeff.
Shout out to Jeff.
And then, you know, hot sauce. We actually made a hot sauce. So I would have brought a bottle here to show.
Oh, where my hot sauce?
All right, you got one at the show? Okay.
I got one, yeah.
Word. So
I saw the big bottles and I was gonna steal one, but I was like, they might be selling those.
we'll have to lace you with a big bottle. But yeah, that's a partnership with my man Scratch Bastard, another really dope DJ that I met through Jeff and the Playlist Retreat. And then Cut the Line is a record with Joss Stone and Cardinal Official. Again, unusual combo, but listen and you will see why. You know, it's just really sounds amazing. So that's next. Okay. And then I've got a couple shows in March at Lincoln Center to promote Story to Tell. And we have the Roots Picnic coming up with Method Man and Redman.
That you'll sneak me
there
in.
may or may not be another live mixtape happening in August at Lincoln Center. So we'll see if we can work that one out as well. So we got big plans for this year.
Man, J. Period. Salute to you.
Yeah, salute to you.
And much more success, for real.
No doubt.
We still here.
We are still here. And in fact, I forgot one other thing, which I shouldn't mention, and I can mention now. This Saturday in Yellow Springs, Ohio, I will be performing a live mixtape with the God MC Rakim at Dave Chappelle's Comedy Club.
Oh.
So kicking off his Soundcheck series.
Okay.
So that one is going to be spectacular.
Oh, so wait. Okay. So Rakim. Anyway. I'll just say Rakim be cheating on Eric B a lot.
I think Rakim and Eric B are brothers for life.
Right.
But I do think that, you know, feeding Rakim like other people's beats has awakened a different animal that now he's excited to get out and rock.
Right.
You know, him doing Paid in Full over Wu-Tang Cash Rules.
You did that.
Yes. Yeah. That's life altering.
Yeah.
So I think once that rabbit hole's been opened, now we're just going to keep going. So,
all right. Shout out to them. They're nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We got to get them votes up. But yeah, shout out to both of them. Yeah, shout out to Rakim. All right.
All right.
Bet.